You are listening to English Made Simple. This is episode 26, número 26. Welcome everyone, my name is Milena. Welcome to English Made Simple. Learn to speak English better than Donald Trump. So let's make English Made Simple great again. He stole my slogan. Bloody hell. Guys, in my last episode, we talked about acronyms. Hopefully you learned something new. I mentioned that WTH was my favorite acronym. Well, it's not. It's not true. My favorite acronyms are LOL, laugh out loud, and WTF, F for Frodo. I can't say it because of iTunes. I cannot say this F word, but I will just spell it for you. F-U-C-K. You can look it up in the dictionary. Great, awesome. It's time to be a lady, Milena, como una dama. So, before we begin this episode, I'd like to say a special hello to my fans, Chilenos from Chile. Hola, Maximiliano from Santiago. Maximiliano, hopefully I said that correctly. Maybe I should say hola, Maxi for short. Martin from Linares. Hola, guys. Nicolas from Washington, D.C. Are you voting this year, Nicolas? I wonder what will happen there. Hola to Paola as well. What a nice name, Paola. Thank you all for your kind words, and I'm really excited you're enjoying the show. This is proof that it's not just my family listening to English Made Simple. Yay, the whole world is listening. Yay! Well, let's get on with the show. In this episode, I want to share some cool tips on what you can do to practice speaking English. How can you practice English face-to-face with a native speaker? This is the most difficult part when learning a new language, not just English, by the way. This is the hardest part, I think. Speaking is the hardest skill to learn. I think so. It was the hardest thing to learn for me when I was learning Spanish. Yeah, I had to learn how to speak Spanish, not just read books and watch telenovelas. Let's assume you know the basic grammar. You have some basic vocabulary. You are now able to talk about yourself. Well, I hope you're able to talk about yourself. If you're not able to talk about yourself, go back to episode 24. Learn how to talk about yourself. Now it's time you go out in the real world and talk to some native speakers. Yay! In this episode, I also want to teach you how to ask questions, especially when you go out and meet new people, personas desconocidas or extraños. Okay? I want to teach you how to ask questions. We say to ask questions. We don't say make questions or do questions. In Spanish, you say preguntar or hacer una pregunta. In English, we say to ask a question. Great. Hopefully that makes sense. We ask questions. Now, where can you go to practice speaking English? You could probably do it online on the internet, but you can also do it in person or face-to-face. I will share some examples from my own experience when I was learning Spanish, but you can also apply the same for English. So let's begin. Some things you can do to practice English if you are living overseas, if you are living in Australia, New Zealand, the US, Canada, UK. If you're living in those countries and you're learning English, you can do some volunteering. You can go to music festivals, sports festivals, theaters, and you can volunteer in those places and you can meet new people and also practice speaking, okay? Also, what you can do in those countries, you can find groups with common interests or hobbies, for example, running or cooking or trekking groups. You can join those and meet new people and practice speaking as well. Now, if you're not living currently in any of the English-speaking countries, if you're in your native country, you can join a meetup group, meetup.com. You can also go to internations.org. I used to go to Internations and Meetup in Melbourne and in Chile, in Santiago. So you can join meetup.com or internations.org. So I want to focus on groups like Meetup or Internations, because you can join them in any country. If you're traveling at the moment, you can find a meetup in any country. That is the whole idea of meetup.com. It's actually a cheap way to practice the language, barato. Sometimes it's free, depends, but sometimes you have to pay like $5 or $10. I'm not sure. I think I paid 1,000 pesos in Santiago. The great thing about Meetup is that you can find different groups on the meetup.com site, meetup.com. The ones I recommend for you guys is usually they're called English-Spanish intercambio or English-Spanish exchange. It's a great opportunity to speak with native speakers because English speakers, they're traveling everywhere and they want to meet new people. So they're very happy to talk to locals and they're very happy to practice their Spanish with the locals. So if you want to learn English, they also want to learn Spanish. So that's why it's called an exchange. I know that maybe you feel nervous when you meet new people. You don't know what to expect. I know from my experience, I felt nervous on my first meetup. Of course, I went with a friend. So I couldn't go by myself. I went with my friend. I was a little bit shy as well to talk to new people. So it's best if you go with a friend if you feel a little bit nervous. But once you get experienced in going to meetups, you can just go by yourself. And it just becomes really natural to start talking to people. And you gain some new social skills, okay? You're able to talk to people, ask questions, and it becomes repetitive, and you learn that way, okay? You start learning quicker when you start talking and repeating yourself sometimes. So I recommend going to meetups in your local country. So if you're in Santiago, if you're in Buenos Aires, if you're in any other city I can't think, in Melbourne, in Sydney, there are meetups happening all over the world and you just go and find your local meetup. So let's see what happens when you do go to a meetup. Okay, you can, when you go with your friend, you don't have to join the meetup straight away. You can have a drink with your friend and just observe and see what kind of people are there if you're a little bit scared. If you're not feeling okay, then, you can just observe and see what it is like at the meetup. But usually people are really friendly and as soon as you get to a meetup, they will invite you to join them and you sit and you talk. When I went to Santiago in Shamrock Irish Bar, I joined this meetup and, for half an hour you can speak Spanish and the other half hour you start speaking English. So it was, you switch from one language to another. So you have a little bit of break. It's not continuously you speak in Spanish or continuously you speak in English, okay? You have to give yourself a break, mental break. So I like the way they did it. So you speak half an hour in English, half an hour in Spanish. That's usually what happens at the meetup. So let's say you do make it to the meetup and you finally sit down and you get to talk to people. You have to be prepared to ask questions, to break the ice, romper el hielo. You have to break the ice with some questions. Here's what typically happens, okay? I'm going to give you an example of questions that you can ask other people, okay, that you meet. First of all, you can say, what is your name? Where are you from? ¿De dónde eres? Where are you from? Another way to ask is, where do you come from? Where do you come from? Where are you from? Are the same thing. Then you can ask, is this your first time here at the meetup? Do you know the organizer of the meetup? Do you know who it is? What do you do? ¿Qué haces? What is your profession? What company do you work for? Okay, there's too many questions, but obviously I'm giving you some ideas. Obviously, there is a logical order to this, so I'm just giving you examples. Another question you could ask is, how old are you? But, don't ask a girl how old she is, okay? What I like to ask is, are you rich? How much money do you have? ¿Eres rico? What car do you drive? Where do you live? I like to ask in that order. No, that's not true. Okay, one more tip. Ask open-ended questions. What this means is that we ask questions that require a longer response, not just yes-no types of responses. You can ask your new friends, tell me, what do you think about Santiago? What do you think about Melbourne? Or whichever country you happen to be in. So ask them about their experience. Now, guys, remember, they will ask you the same questions, so prepare answers to these types of questions. These are the most common questions, except the ones, are you rich? That's just me being stupid. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. If you're not sure about certain words, you can always say Sorry, how do you say this in English? I don't know, cerveza, how do you say this in English? Okay, don't laugh and make fun of other people when they make a mistake, okay? It's not nice. Come on, guys, it's not nice. Go to the meetup with the right mindset. Be respectful. Don't do crazy things. Don't start arguing. Start fighting, pelear. I'm just speaking from my own experience, as I said before. There are weirdos too at the meetup. Gente rara. Weird people. Freaks. Gente loca. I don't know why, but I always attract those, and they never shut up, and they talk about boring stuff, not interesting stuff at all. So when you meet one of those, you have to learn how to excuse yourself. You need an exit strategy. For example, to save yourself, just say, oh, sorry, excuse me, whereabouts are the toilets? Where's the toilet? Okay. And to be extra polite, you can say, instead of saying toilet, in English we say loo, L-O-O. Where is the loo? Or whereabouts are the loos, we say in this very informal way. Here's a bit of history trivia for you guys. The origin of the word loo, for toilet, actually happened before the 1940s. It used to be called Waterloo. Waterloo was the brand of toilet systems. Estanque del baño, okay? See how smart I am? I used Google to find out why we say loo. Excellent. So I hope this helps, guys. Just to sum up, attending meetups will help you gain social skills. It will also help you be a good listener as well. It will help you with your confidence. Hey, and you also might meet new friends. Okay. All right, guys. We are approaching the end of the episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time. Hasta la próxima. All transcriptions are available on my website, englishmadesimple.net. If you have any questions on any of the topics we covered in this show, please let me know in the Facebook group, English Made Simple, or on my website. This podcast is for you guys, and I'm here to help you learn. So let's do this. Hasta la próxima.